I'm not very good at doing the Australian breakdancer. But in any case, welcome back, everyone, to a new Pickled Dragon Unscripted. We have the amazing Dracoya,
Cheers. I need some Baileys.
who's yes, and I'm drinking some Cutty Sark, celebrating 100 years of adventure with Cutty Sark, 50 years of D&D with apparently OD&D. No, we have something for you today. I struggled with even I struggled with how to uh bring this to you guys in a way that won't take 2 hours of just ranting and
Because
rave.
there's a little article that we came across that's rather infuriating.
Yeah, so there has been a rise of new gaming magazines online, and some of them also have physical copies. And this one in particular is called Weird Science. It's like WYRD, so it's special. Um, and in it, they interview a creator who has recently released an OD&D retro clone, and this author named Marcia of the retro clone. She is. I'm going to share my screen. This is the article: ruins and revisions. Um, she thinks very highly of herself.
Very much so. Yeah, she reminds me of a lot of girls that I used to hang out with in college that you just really couldn't trust and would do things behind your back. Or they would talk poorly about other people in order to build themselves up, which is pretty much exactly what this article is. It's just her shitting on D&D and Gygax so that she can build her own little crap up.
So yeah,
Which
she describes her as a rogue editor. I guess there's a dedication. Uh, my soul yearns to speak of forms changed into new bodies. It's just a quote from Ovid, but uh, you know, I I when I started reading the article, like the first couple pages of it, I was like, oh, okay, this sounds interesting, and her idea for why she created her retro clone, seems valid, and it sounds pretty cool, actually. They created 6 books that or 6 sections, chapters, books. I know there's multiple books, like 4 to 6 books. Um, and it sounds pretty cool. She organized OD&D into these collections to make it more clear and whatnot. But as you read on, you begin to wonder what exactly did she write? I mean, she says that she reworded and reworked OD&D's original books into a clear and functioning set of rules, but the more I read through this article, the more I wondered how, what of her own, in particular, politics did she insert into her retro clone?
so many, like half this article is just her political views or her, yeah, no. Um,
And
my favorite, go
go
on,
ahead.
go on.
Oh,
Oh,
well, one of the things that I found funny is they actually specifically pointed out one place where, you know, she said that her favorite part was searching for ambiguous points in the original text and sneakily replicating them without copying the words exactly. Sneakily. The most egregious case, I feel like, was the description of robots, golems, and androids on a page listing additional possible monsters if you want to include them in your campaign. And quote unquote,
embarrassing.
self-explanatory monsters, which are totally subjective as far as characteristics are concerned, is how the OD&D read. And I thought to myself, well, that was quite arrogant.
Right?
It's like self. I mean, it's a robot. Like they're saying, it's self-explanatory. You can have a robot with 6 arms. You can have a robot with 2 arms. You can have, you know, tank treads or not or whatever. That's quite arrogant. Um, And she wished to spare the reader from experiencing the same what the fuck moment I did. Um, and it's kind of like I, having read the same stuff myself, I never had that moment, and I would wager that it to me it was more of an insight into somebody who found something so benign to be so egregious. It's more of a reflection on the author, I think, that than the original OD&D. But that's my personal opinion. So anyway, I, if we continue through this thing, so yeah, so if we scroll to this page, um, you really start getting into uh her politics here. Um, at least the first inklings of it. And the year is 2024. You hold in your hands a single volume of fantastic medieval campaigns. It is a faithful rendering of the hallowed text first published 5 decades ago. It emblematizes in negative the culture war of the past 2.5 decades, and it testifies to RPGs and gamers' persistent ideological myopia. Word salad, right? I mean, it's somebody that wants to sound very, very intelligent.
But
And
she keeps contradicting herself throughout the freaking thing. It's somebody who took a few too many classes on philosophy, or she read a few too many books on philosophy, and now she thinks that she's the next philosopher. Now she thinks she brings something original and new to the table. But girl, you don't. We've all been there. That was all a phase of everyone's, well, not everyone, but a lot of people had this phase, and chill. Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
so where my excitement for her books ended was when it talks about the right here, the culture war of the past 2.5 decades, you know. So her books are more about the culture war, like she's trying to create a game around the culture war. I don't know what's in these books, but I might have to take a look. But in any case, um, this next part was I wanted to confront the reader with with the reality of the text. Challenge yeah, I want to
What does
confront
that
the reader
mean?
with the reality of the text. So you've got this game, you want to play some OD&D, you've got this game, and she's going to confront you with the reality of the text. Challenge predominant interpretations that ascribe modern old school ideas to it, and transform something that we think we know all about into something unfamiliar.
Okay, so I think what she's trying to say is she's trying to create her own version that she liked for XYZ reason, but she's not, I think that's what I'm hearing, but she's not wording it in that way. She's wording it in a way that makes her sound like she's some kind of savior, that she's doing some amazing work, that she's doing this mind-blowing revolution of D&D, and that's not really what I'm hearing.
Well, I mean, it's the activist coming out, right? Like, you
Yeah.
need to turn D&D into something for that will create a political statement, which
Which
is
you
fine.
don't.
You can do that, but this it gets better. Like, okay, so Fantastic Medieval Campaigns revises our understanding of what the old school was through direct exposure to OD&D rather than filtering it through assumptions, interpretations, and faulty memories. And she's exposing what OD&D is, and it's clearly not a good thing. The game's reality is apparent in the text, but a true understanding of its origins come only through play. And then we can scroll on over, get the rest of this, which itself challenges modern's assumptions about the act itself.
And this
I
is my
mean,
favorite part.
this person is like so, they're so full of themselves. And that's what really gets me. It's like, um,
I'm not sure she knows what she's talking about.
that's probably a fair thing to say. But yeah, this is the part that Dracoya has been exceedingly anxious to get to. So,
It's just this is where it really pisses me off because I've heard this argument so many times that D&D is built for a bunch of white people and it's very racist and it's colonial and this quote right here from her, the truth is that D&D is about violent colonialism in its very structure. Okay. So then she continues. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. So then she continues on and she starts talking about Christopher Columbus. The United States acknowledges the second Monday in October as Christopher Columbus Day, the Italian explorer who sailed the Spanish fleet in the search of Asia and instead stumbled upon the New World, Mercia said. He is celebrated as a pioneer of exploration to whom we owe our lives today. He is responsible for the genocide of 90% of the indigenous population in the century following his accidental discovery, besides his own adventuring party participating directly in the process. So here she attributes this argument. Okay, babe. She attributes this argument of colonialism to Christopher Columbus. Okay, to Christopher Columbus. He's so good. He's like, you're worked up. Calm down, mom.
yeah,
So
and she's basically saying that Christopher Columbus's adventuring party is no different than D&D adventuring parties.
okay, but here's where I get pissed off. She's choosing the one adventurer in history that supports her argument. Good boy. She's choosing the one adventurer in history that supports her argument. What she is not doing is she's not picking out any other adventurer that wouldn't support this argument, like Marco Polo or Lewis and Clark or Sacagawea. Any other adventurer throughout history that is not responsible for a huge genocide, she just is just ignoring that. She's picking out the one that'll feed her argument. And that goes back to she reminds me of these people in college who sit there and they find that one bad thing just so that they can shit on it and build themselves up. And it's like, but that's not fair. Your argument is shaky as at best. You're forgetting everything just so that you can try and be right.
Well, yeah, cherry picking it, and so and the full quote there is like, I think people try to absolve themselves of a problematic dimension to D&D by sanitizing the game's content and finding ways to make protagonists more heroic or moral in their view. The truth is that D&D is about violent colonialism and it's very structured. D&D is about bringing the light of civilization to the darkest corners of the fantasy world, both literal and otherwise. It's about constant stream of treasure to extract and enemies defeat. What does that sound like? So I've been running D&D for nigh on 40 years. And my campaigns and campaigns that I've played in, games that I've run, or games that I've participated in, I should say, have always steered back to a heroic theme. I even tried to run a piracy theme and tried to make it all about the loot and tried to make it as old school in a very cinematic sense, like the Seven Voyages of Sinbad, where they go for the lamp of the genie to, like I tried to to draw the greed out of my players, and in every case,
But it
they
didn't
went
work.
back to the heroic. The treasure was secondary. The defeating the villain was primary.
Because we
Uh,
don't adventure just so that we can get the giant thing of loot. Although, yeah, that's nice too. We do it so that we can make a difference in this world and really be a hero. A hero doesn't become a hero by being rich. Sorry,
and you know
Mom.
what? The biggest problem with her argument is the fact that, and I don't know a single DM who doesn't won't corroborate this, but the biggest thing that blows her argument away is the fact that there's very little to do with gold in D&D.
Right.
You know, heroes, they can amass huge sums of wealth. There's nothing to do with it. And most heroes don't even much care. Like they leave, like my groups, they leave behind piles of coins, piles of treasure, because you know, you get to such a level, you have magic items you find, and you're able to more effectively defeat, but the accumulation of wealth and bringing their civilization into this lost tomb or whatever doesn't even come into play, because there's really very little to do with wealth. It's all about defeating the villain, and uh
No, that's true. I mean, and it's good to hear that you guys had bukus of money, because in my campaigns, we never had money. My DM always kept us so freaking broke. All the loot that we would get would be at the end of a huge quest arc, and he would give us some crazy loot, don't get me wrong, but it would be at the end of some kind of quest arc. Otherwise, we didn't really have bukus of money. We barely had enough to kind of get by and do stuff, and we had to be really creative, which was fun. But the point is, we didn't do it for the money because we didn't have any.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, so you got that extreme. Like you're clearly not doing it for the money, you know, versus
No.
versus you know, just having too much and not being able to do anything with it, you know. But don't worry, Dracoya, you didn't miss out anything because there's nothing to do with your money anyway. So
Other than get a tattoo now, which seems all right. I can do that. Maybe.
okay. Well, in any case, moving on, I there's some more here that here's where like all the buzzwords start blasting out. Okay. The final page, and this is funny. The final page of Fantastic Medieval Campaigns bears the words, this page intentionally left blank. And I immediately had Family Guy images of Brian Griffin and his book Wish It, Want It, Do It, where he left all these pages of a self-help book. All the pages were blank in the middle, and everyone was making fun of him for it because it took no effort whatsoever. But in any case, this page intentionally left blank, centered in bold, but around the blank page, printed faintly, almost like Val says. I can't even read this. Okay, I'm just gonna skip to the part. Okay, so OD&D from its inception through the present as a playground for colonialist power fantasies based in white male heteronormative identity, biases that are unfortunately still aggressively present in the hobby at large, and particularly in a swath of OSR. So today, in today's day and age, there is an aggressive presence of white male heteronormative power fantasies present in the hobby. I mean, do you experience that, Chakoya?
No.
Mine, because I'm a white male.
Yeah, you can't have an opinion because you're a white male, but no.
Oh my God. Buzzwords, they're coming out.
Please.
Wish it, want it, do it.
Every single table I've ever had, we had an assortment of different types of people. We had an assortment of different types of people in and out of game, both the players and the characters, both the areas we were adventuring and in real life. Like, just shut up.
You might be able to find anecdotal examples of some douchebag somewhere saying something
Sure.
rude, but it's not in any way, shape, or form. I challenge anyone out there to prove that it is pervasive and a widespread issue.
Well,
It's
we can cherry pick. Yeah, we can find stuff. I've definitely experienced stuff here and there. We can definitely cherry pick and create an argument where this is the reality. But that doesn't make it the like majority of
The
reality.
rule.
It's like that doesn't make it the rule. Yeah, this is the exception to the rule. And you're looking at the exception to the rule and then saying, "Oh, well this is how it is." But it's ridiculous. Yeah. No. I'm sorry.
So, yeah, and she finishes the article by saying that she is challenging the commodity culture of today um, by offering her book for free. Or if you want hard copy or paper copies, offering them at cost.
Your white privilege is showing, honey.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Her privilege is definitely showing its privilege. Because if she has the financial security and time to spend on manufacturing books um, and releasing them all for free, yeah. I mean,
Must be nice.
yeah, it
Good
must
for
be nice to have that
you.
kind of time and just to be able to do that for free. It reminds
Don't
me
have to worry
of
about bills
that
like the rest of
Portland,
us.
huh?
Don't have to worry about bills like the rest of us, but
I
that's fine.
know. I know. Oh gosh. And then they go on to start mocking Gary Gygax a little bit, calling him Papa Gygax and
Again, she's shitting on her competition to build her thing up. But the reality is, if your thing was that great, you wouldn't have to shit on the competition. This article wouldn't be just you shitting on the competition. This article would be you telling us about why your thing is amazing, and what
yeah.
makes a difference, and what your ideas are, and how it's better for the players. Because right now, all you've done is create a bunch of shaky cherry picking arguments and shit on your competition. It doesn't make you better, sweetheart. It makes you look like you're overcompensating.
Yeah, and it goes on to say that 5e is a culture rather than a system. Its enthusiasts are some of the few who to recognize that they control their hobby and not the other way around. Like, how is 5e any different than OD&D? They're all systems, they're all game systems. People can play them as they will. It reminds me of one time I saw somebody calling for a boycott um to try to stop. It was kind of crazy. They wanted old white men to get out of the hobby, and then they lamented that a boycott, this was it. They lamented that a boycott would only result in only old white men playing, and then they wouldn't have a voice at all. So it's like these little quips and whatnot. Um,
No, no.
yeah. So guys,
Anyway,
tell us what you think. This is
we're,
crazy.
we're worked up. You can comment, like, subscribe, do all the things. Yeah, clearly we've got some pretty
Yeah.
strong
Oh,
opinions.
and please go to dnddice.com, use promo code pickled. Pick some,
Yes.
support our channel.
Use
Go
those
check it.
D&D dice for your next colonial campaign.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. Where all your wildest heteronormative fantasies, power fantasies can come true.
There we go. Come back and have another round on us.